little bit more tempo, getting a little bit of rhythm going there, just mixing up with the runs and the passes. We had a few things going. We just made some minimal mistakes.
Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Best of luck in the second half. Guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Emily. And again, appreciate both coaches taking time out to visit with her as Kansas State's Bill Snyder has the upper hand once again, 31-14. As we get ready to kick it off here in the second half, Bill Land, Dave Lapham, Emily Jones with you. And 75-degree day in Lawrence as the kickoff to Lockett. And Lockett, little stutter step, 30, watch out, he's got one to beat. 45, stays in bounds, down the sideline, Tyler Lockett, oh mama, touchdown Wildcats.
What patience he showed, letting his blocking set up for him. Man, unbelievable effort. And again, another unscripted, unconventional score. Lockett takes it to the house. And Whataburger, what a play right here. Watch him hesitate, let his blocking set up, and he finds the crease, and then it's just a sprint. Bad angle by the kicker. Kicker's not going to catch him. Lockett says, see ya, coast to coast. Amazing.
Last week, he went 100 yards on a return against Texas Tech. Today, it's 97 yards against rival Kansas, and the kick good by Cantelli, and the Wildcats a stunner to start the second half, 38-14. Really the Wildcat, yeah, puffy-chested after that kick return of 97 yards by Lockett, and Cantelli will kick it off for Kansas State now as KU will get the return, and this one to Brandon Bourbon. 15. Bourbon at the 20. He breaks to the 25. Flags are flying though. 40 and knocked off his feet about the 47-yard line. David Garrett making the tackle, but we'll sort out the laundry here.
There's a bunch of it. 3 different flags. I don't know if 2 saw the same thing or all 3 saw different infractions, but it's going to move Kansas back. It's going to move Kansas back big time.
And also, flags are flying even through his hat.
Yeah, that's usually somebody's out of bounds and comes back in bounds and can't be the first to do whatever, but unless his hat just fell off. But the initial flags on the opposite side of the field as the return got underway.
Kansas State just taking the air out of this Kansas crowd with that kickoff return by Lockett to start the second half.
There are 3 fouls on the play, all against the receiving team. During return, blocking the back, receiving team number 32. Penalties decline. During the return, holding, receiving team number 65. There'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the receiving team, number 20. Will penalize half the distance from the goal on that first down.
Well, now you got a team that's losing their poise.
Yep.
So, you know, you have to make sure that you just can't do that at all costs. You have to maintain your poise.
These KU fans show you the attitude. Checking the phones.
So now you start at your 8-yard line. Not good.
And it has been the story throughout this game that every time they've had, just about any time they've had anything positive or an answer to the Kansas State offense, some kind of penalty has brought it back.
Hey, they got to stuff all the laundry back in their proper spots.
Your head back on, and so we'll see what Webb and crew will do with the ball. First attempt, and now a fumble, and Kansas State, I believe, is recovered.
The mesh point between Sims and Webb was not there. Latui, I think, came up with it.
Yep, by Latui, junior out of Salt Lake City, Utah, one of the many junior college transfers who's been a huge part of their undefeated start.
Actually, Sims is throwing the block, and you know,
Pearson with a loose
hand.
Pearson,
you got to be able to secure that football. The mesh point not quite secure enough, and once it's on the ground, Latui comes up with it.
I don't know if there's any toes left on the Kansas feet to be shot at, because this ball club now with Klein and crew setting up, and they're going to go shot with a Wildcat here with the direct snap and almost scoring.
short.
Yeah, just shy. That was Angelo Peace, the junior from Cairo, Georgia.
And now it's not just penalties. Now you have a turnover, and you have a turnover on your shadow of your own end zone. You put your defense in a real bind, and Kansas State almost goes right for the jugular to score on the first play.
Now Klein back under center, or so it would appear. He's got Harper left. Klein looking for his 4th TD of the day. Waiting for the signal as they'll unpile. Yes, touchdown. Colin Klein.
Colin, he's 6'5", Bill. So when you're 6'5", all you have to do is fall forward. The offensive line gets any surge at all he has to do is fall forward, and he's going to score. That's exactly what he does. Good leg drive. He gets a little assistance, too, from behind. A little push in the back to make sure, by Tannehill, to make sure that he gets over the goal line.
So Klein, his 4th touchdown of the afternoon, and the Wildcats 44-14, anticipating one more from Cantelli. And they got it. Kansas State lighting up the Jayhawks in Lawrence, 45-14 on College Football Saturday. 45-14 Kansas State as the Wildcats 17 points in 1:08 of time, and our Delta Faucet scoring drive, you'll call it that, 2 plays, 8 yards. Klein, his 4th rushing touchdown of the day, his 14th of the season, and the Wildcats, they put the foot on the throat as the Jayhawks will receive the kickoff.
Kansas has now given up 42 points or more in 6 straight football games.
And the kick. Jackson on the return. Marquise Jackson, 35, and brings one with him. And he is stopped at the 38-yard line by Curry Sexton after a 19-yard return. Here are the jack-in-the-box possessions from the first half as well as current as you take a look at KU.
Well, a slow start, obviously. You know, you're looking at these 2 drives where you have minus yardage, 4 punts, then you throw a couple of touchdowns together, and you start your drive here to start the second half and fumble the football and put your defense in a stressful situation.
Webb on 1st and 10. Got some pass pro, now in trouble, scrambles, trying to throw it away. And at least I thought he was. Cale picked the intended receiver, but he was well covered on the play. Out there was David Garrett.
Little jump ball situation. David Garrett, 5'8", 175 pounds, wasn't giving anything up.
No, and Pick, although 6'1", Garrett, he is a bulldog. It is 2nd down and 10 now for the Jayhawks. Sims out to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line for James Sims, sophomore from Irving, Texas, out of MacArthur High School in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Now Kansas finds themselves in a familiar spot, unfortunately, having played from behind. They've rushed for 207 yards a game. Could be about 250 yards a game if they wouldn't have to play from behind so regularly and could stay with their running game.
Well, one thing, Dave, I mean, you know they're not going to go out to an all-out throwing game, but the hurry up, another fumble, and Kansas State has got it again. I was just going to say the hurry up had been effective for them, but nothing going right for the Jayhawks now as the Wildcats get it again inside Kansas territory on the fumble. And Childs, I believe, with a fumble recovery.
I think Adam Davis might have made a big hit on it, and I think Childs did come up with it. Yeah, Davis is the one, and he's ripping at it, and he has the big hit. And really, over the top, Ray Kibble hustling, knocks it out of there. Pretty good effort by all the defensive front. I'm going to take a look and see if the knee was down before the fumble. Was Webb's knee down on the ground before the ball came out?
Yeah, well, I believe. Replay action here. Jarrell Childs was the one that came up with it.
Kansas is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down before the ball came out.
Let's see. He's balancing himself. Boy, is the right knee down. The left knee's not.
Ruling
left
on the
knee's
field
not,
was
the right
fumble,
knee's not.
recovery by Kansas State.
I think that's going to stand. I mean, you can tripod yourself with your hand like he did, his right hand. His knees still weren't down on the ground. The ball was knocked out of there. It's close. But I do think that, that the call will stand. It has to be indisputable evidence otherwise.
Turner Gill looking at, hey, you're down 45-14. You got to take every possible shot because Kansas State just mentioned that scoring
After
17
review,
at
the
108.
ruling on the field is confirmed. The ball was fumbled and recovered by the defense. Kansas will be charged their first time out of the second half, and they're out of challenges for the rest of the game.
Nice job by Adam Davis and Ray Kibble combining, making Webb spit the football up.
So what will Klein and company come up with here? First and 10 on the 48 as the Wildcats been averaging 29 points a game. They're sitting at 45 early moments third quarter. And Klein again showing that ball to Hubert and then pulling it back. Agostino with the tackle. Here's the Kansas State possessions brought to you by Jack in the Box with a possession chart.
Well, they start out with a 3 and out, not so good. And then after that, man, how about 6 straight possessions, score 5 of those 6, touchdown. Whew. First possession, what happened to 1, 2, 3 and out?
Well, and the field goal was only because it was the end of the half, or they most likely would have scored again there.
And Lockett got chewed out by Snyder because they had a timeout to burn. He should have gotten down earlier. He lucked out, and there was a second left on the clock where they could stop it.
The Wildcat formation, Peace, the 40, 35, and Peace.
Number 29, Angelo.
Another one of the JUCOs out of Hutchinson. And a nice block that time by Tannehill to set up this run.
No question, Tannehill, this is a little counter action. Watch Tannehill follow his fullback Wilson, then Tannehill right here, and then come off it and get yourself another one. Why not get 2 blocks? And then on the perimeter, scuffling. I mean, Kansas State is just so salty. They you know, one block's not good enough. Go get yourself a pair of blocks. Why not?
12-yard pickup. Ball at the 32, first and 10. And the handoff, and here's Hubert. He thought he should have scored. They are all fired up. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff players. Well, hard to go wrong with Klein and then Lockett. And Jordan Webb's been steady for Kansas.
Yeah, Jordan Webb's had an effective game, but boy, Klein, he's throwing the ball with great accuracy and a career-high yards already. Plus, he's rushed for 4 touchdowns and 67 yards. And Lockett with the big special teams touchdown.
So Klein, it's a career day passing yardage-wise already, and this is maybe a matter of how long they want to play him. Hubert on the pitch from Klein. Kansas, pretty good swarm action that time. Stops him at the 19-yard line. Keyston Terry.
As you can see right there, what Kansas State does is they take a lot of time at the line of scrimmage, and at the very end of the play clock, we'll look to the sideline for one last adjustment. They get that, they take the time to look at your defensive structure, and then they give their players the best possible play to get into.
Lockett and Harper go wide left. As Klein to throw it here on second and long. Oh, just missing, connecting across the middle. Andre McDonald, the intended receiver. First and 10 line is brought to you by Mazda.
Andre McDonald is 6'8", 276 pounds. Is hard to miss down the middle of the football field. Looks like a skyscraper.
Sophomore out of Choctaw, Oklahoma's had 6 receptions on the year. So it is 3rd down and 9 at the 19 of the Jayhawks. Kansas State threatening to score again. Klein, wide open, touchdown, Lockett. The slaughter continues. 51-14 as Lockett gets his second touchdown of the day. His first receiving TD of the day, his second of the year.
Starts with the protection. Vision totally unimpeded, stands tall in that pocket like a power forward. at 6'5", looks over the any pressure, and he finds Lockett just wide open. Lockett will score as special teams. He'll score as a receiver. He's talented.
And Cantelli for the point after. It is true. And Kansas State, Lockett in your living room with another TD, 52-14 Cats.
Surge by the O-line, finish by Klein.
There are the numbers, 10 for 67 and 4 scores. And Lockett, who had that thrilling play to end the first half, and then a kick return, and now a TD on a pass play. And here's Bourbon on the return for the Jayhawks. Stopped at the 25-yard line. Time for an Academy Sports and Outdoors game break. Here's Kevin Frazier and Marcus. Oklahoma State trying to stay unbeaten and continue on toward that showdown with Oklahoma December 3rd. Still a lot of football for both those schools before that happens, but what a matchup that could be. Speaking of matchup, and then somehow Brown let him get away. Arthur Brown, he just smacked Miller, but didn't quite finish him off.
You talk about a downhill read. Watch Arthur Brown. Come on downhill, my man. Boom! Boy, that's just a good effort just to get away from that. But that's a blitz, a run blitz. He makes his read. It's good contact.
We haven't talked a lot about Arthur Brown. He's been a huge part of this Kansas State defense. And just an absolute anchor, the junior out of Wichita that transferred from Miami. And meanwhile, his brother Bryce, who was the more heralded player, if you will, the offensive player, is no longer a part of the squad. And but on this side, Arthur has been phenomenal. Came in leading with 45 tackles, 4.5 for loss. He's had that big pick against Robert Griffin III in the Baylor win that set up the winning field goal.
What he's done such a good job of, he's an extreme talent physically, but he's playing discipline, hitting the right gaps. Initially, he didn't. Now he's really learned to do that.
3rd and 9 for Kansas. Webb complete to the 27, shy of the first down on the reception by Christian Matthews, the sophomore from Arlington, Texas. And the Jayhawks will have to kick it away. Still 9 minutes to go, 3rd quarter.
David Garrett with a very sure tackle, took his legs right out from under him.
Doherty will come on to punt it. Tyler Lockett is deep, and you know he'd like to break another one.
Yeah, I'd punt it away from him.
Yeah. He stands back on his 27-yard line. Doherty takes the snap. High kick. Lockett have an opportunity. Oh, he dropped it. Kansas signaling they've got this one. But a Wildcat comes out of there with a football. Let's see what. It's Kansas State football.
Lockett took his eyes off the football at the last second to try to see where he could run. You can't do that. You have to look it in.
That's Herzog, number 59, said, "My football, give it here."
He's the biggest one in the pile, and he came away with the pig. That's a good job. He saw it just laying out there.
And Lockett owes him dinner.
Yeah.
His coach is going to say, "I know you've got 2 touchdowns. Can't take your eye off the football." Herzog got it back for him, though. Hubert. Still on his feet, spinning out of bounds. And got to the 41-yard line. Michael Reynolds, a freshman out of Wichita, Mount Carmel High School, made the stop for the Kansas defense.
Kansas State right now, I think Bill Snyder will probably try to put the Jayhawks in the meat grinder and just continue to run the football. Make this almost like a run scrimmage right now and just melt that clock. The clock is a huge ally to him when he's already hung half 100 on you.
Yeah, and they certainly live on the ground game anyway, averaging 206 yards per game. And then the fact that just play keep away, realizing the only way you could possibly have a chance of losing this game is if you make a bunch of turnovers at this point. And not much gain there as Dent made the tackle. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, that she wanted to give back to this community that had been so good to her. And so she challenged them to raise $100,000 to go toward renovating 15 infusion rooms at Lawrence Memorial Hospital. So they set up a website called jamieswish.org. Since mid-August, they've raised $33,000 on their way to $100,000. They're all here not wearing purple or blue today, but instead wearing pink shirts in Jamie's honor.
That is classy, I'll tell you what. And you see the website there for more information and contributions, jamieswish.org. And isn't it great when you do have, and this rivalry can get pretty heated,
Right.
that people are able to see the bigger side of things and come together for such a great cause.
No doubt. And a lot of causes and common bonds.
They got a piece of that punt that time by Dorr, and it'll roll across the 40, and Kansas going to get it back on the 31, 32-yard line, and 24 yards on the punt.
I think Heaney got his hand on that bad boy. Let's see if Heaney went up and got a little piece of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. His left hand.
Ben Heaney,
got a chunk.
freshman from Hutchinson, Kansas. Jayhawks trying to create something on the special teams and at least get a little bit better field position out of it. With 6:48 to go in the third quarter. Bill Snyder.
Well, in the last 6.5 quarters of football, Bill Snyder's Wildcats have outscored the Jayhawks 111-21. 59-7 last year, 52-14 so far in this one.
And the game was here last year as well. So that's without going to Manhattan. Bourbon with the carry and goes out of bounds at the 42, making the 43-yard line. Yeah, and people are wondering sometimes in the Big 12 why some of these teams are playing back-to-back at the same location. It's because of Colorado and Nebraska exiting the league and resetting the schedule.
Right.
That quirk has happened. Bourbon again with the carry here.
You got a flag.
Legal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It takes away another first down. First down rushing is not going to happen. Instead of a 1st and 10, it's a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Kansas State well on its way to going 7-0 for the first time since 1999. The Jayhawks setting up a monster showdown with Oklahoma next weekend in Manhattan.
Turn up.
Jordan Webb completes this one outside to Bourbon.
Kansas State is such a fundamentally sound football team in space. They tackle. I mean, they're out there one-on-one, and instead of making the first tackle or miss, more times than not, Kansas State has taken them to the ground. It's been impressive.
Now, it hadn't taken long for Bill Snyder just reestablish his whole mantra and discipline of football with this club coming back. And this is his 3rd year. His return. Bourbon again. He's tackled by Garrett.
Good example of what I'm talking about. In space, one-on-one. David Garrett, the last 2 opportunities he's had, he has taken the legs right out from under the running backs. He's a very, very fine football player in space.
11 tackles today for Garrett. How about that? As they'll have to kick it away, and Tyler Lockett is deep again. Doherty stands on his 27-yard line. Lower kick this time, and
you can't do that.
He's calling fair catch.
Right.
No flag is thrown. He stopped at the 18-yard line. This college football season, Fox Sports proud to support Dream Foundation, who are making dreams come true for adults facing a life-threatening illness. There's no greater time to help those in need. And when time is limited, text DREAM to 41518 to donate $10 and turn dreams into lasting memories. With 5:01 on the clock, Kansas State possession, 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Colin Klein leading the way with 4 touchdowns scored. And keeps it himself and takes it for a first down as he brings it to the 32. And it's check in on Academy Sports and Outdoors Game Break. Kevin Frazier.
I tell you, this is a freshman freak. Unbelievably gifted athlete.
How impressive is Clemson? Wow. Another team that people weren't looking at seriously at the beginning of the year as far as what they've done. Kansas State certainly fitting that category. The Wildcats rolling here 52-14, and Klein again with Johnson on the stop.
Well, he might as well get 100 yards rushing. He's done it 3 times. He's got a career high 4 rushing touchdowns, I believe, today. A career high passing yards today. Might as well set a career high rushing mark today in terms of yards. I mean, Klein has definitely been the straw that stirs the drink for sure, a total catalyst.
Well, he's at 89 rushing for the afternoon, so it's a matter of when with 3:46 and rolling here in the third quarter. Second down and 1 for Klein. Timeout, Kansas State.
Look to the sideline late to get the final adjustment, and the play clock melted a little too much for Colin Klein.
And as Bill Snyder strolls the sideline, our Brown Hand Center great hands of the game play. Well, hard to argue. We're talking about Hertog with that play. Take a look again as he rips this football away.
Yeah, it was his. He's saying, you know what? In those situations, the strongest hands, wrists, and forearms win. And his hands were great and strong.
Some of those sponsored elements, as we call them, don't fit. That one does. The Brown Hand Center, great hands of the game. What a play. And keeping possession there for Kansas State. Ball at the 41. 2nd and 1 following the timeout. Klein of Loveland, Colorado. Keeps the football for the first down. Moves it to about the 43.
The way Herzog was ripping that ball out of there, he looked like a little kid opening his first Christmas present in his life. I mean, he was in there digging it out, boy. He was getting after that thing. Kansas got to be very disappointed. Coming in today, they thought that the tempo and style of playing this football game would be suiting them better, and they self-destructed, didn't give themselves a chance. You got to take yourself off your schedule. Kansas State's too good.
Yeah, it happened right from the beginning, even though Kansas State led 7-0 after 1 quarter. And then that wild second quarter where Kansas State was leading at the half 31-14 when Ken Telly hit the field goal with time expiring. And then K-State just exploding to start the third quarter. Lockett on the 97-yard kickoff return to open the half. And then Klein picking it up after the fumble recovery. And then Lockett a 19-yard TD reception from Klein.
It's a lot of scoring right there.
2:28 to go here in the third. Call it action, Cam. What a view you have.
Got them outnumbered. Too many hats. 1 extra hat at the point of attack. That's what Bill Snyder's all about. Out-leverage you. Gets both his tight ends and his fullback to the same side of the line of scrimmage. Puts a lot of stress on the defense to shift and make sure they're aligned properly and then hit the proper gaps. So he just tries to out-formation you, motion you, put hesitation in the linebackers' minds. All they have to do is freeze a half a step and he's got the edge.
Willis making the tackle on Hubert that time. And it's 3rd down and 4 to go for Kansas State. Makes the pass, in trouble under pressure, and just throws it away. And they'll send on the punt team here. Surprised at all they're even thrown in that situation, Dave?
You know, it again, the professor is a contrarian thinker.
Yeah, it's the unexpected, right?
I mean, with him, Bill Snyder he is always thinking multiple plays ahead. It's amazing how he knows his offense so well. He is a play ahead of you at all times. It really is astounding.
Shears and McDougal are deep. Dorr, the punter. Fair catch called for by DJ Bashirs and takes care of that. And that's where Kansas will operate after a 37-yard punt from Ryan Dorr, the junior out of Katy, Texas. Jayhawks coming in 2-4, 0-3, and have lost 4 in a row. And been through that meat grinder of back-to-back with Oklahoma last weekend, Oklahoma State and Lawrence the week before, where they were throttled. And the last 5 teams have averaged 55 against them, and nobody has scored less than 45. And here's Kansas State with 52 today. They have just really struggled defensively. And a pitch and catch to Matthews. He is bumped hard after the completion, but that'll be a first down for the Jayhawks, a gain of 15 yards for Kansas.
Christian Matthews, high school quarterback. You know, that happens a lot. I mean, schools recruit quarterbacks and change them to other positions. And a lot of times you see former quarterbacks at the receiver position, and they understand that position.
Jordan Webb, the sophomore signal caller for Kansas, long snap count. Now Sims looking for a hole and pushes hard to the 35-yard line before Arthur Brown makes the tackle.
Taking a look at Arthur Brown for the first time in person, totally impressed. I mean, he has got tremendous speed, tremendous instincts. And when he makes his mind up, Arthur Brown, that middle linebacker for Kansas State, is coming downhill at you.
8 tackles so far today for Brown. You see Sims cramping up here as needs some help to come off the field.
You know, people say, how can you cramp on a day like today? Today is not that hot a day. If you don't keep up with your fluids, and if during the course of the week your diet wasn't right and the intake of fluids wasn't right, you can cramp up because you're exerting a lot of energy out there, and you don't realize how the amount of fluid you're still losing on a day like today, and you don't really keep up with the fluid intake a lot of times.
Sims, their leading rusher, sophomore. It's a nice hand from the fans as he goes off, and it'll be 2nd down and 3 for the Jayhawks. Pearson replaces him at the running back spot.
The bad thing is, once they start, they don't go in reverse. They keep coming in waves.
On the carry, not much doing there, and stopped at the 35-yard line. Yeah, and for Kansas, I mean, they've already faced, we're talking about the toughest of the Big 12. They go to a Texas next week. I mean,
right.
And even though the Longhorns have suffered a few bumps in the road, that's no easy touch by any means.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter as they count it down here. And Kansas, big work to do if they're going to make a monumental comeback here in the 4th quarter of the Sunflower Showdown. You're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday. It's presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. After 3 quarters, it's all Kansas State, 52-14. Bank of America stats. Take a look here. You see the total yardage. That's not so bad, 374, 226. But Dave put a big circle in the turnovers and the penalties. That's been the killer for Kansas.
That's been the definition of self-destruction. 9 penalties given up over a football field in hidden yards. Can't win.
Well, Lewis in the backfield. Watch out. Webb got hit as he tried to unload that one. Incomplete. And Lamar putting the pressure on him. Jordan Webb, who is now 21 of 28 today, 169 yards. His counterpart, Klein, 12 of 19 for 195 and a TD. While Klein has also run for 92 yards and 4 scores.
Averaging over 7 yards a carry on his rushes. He's only run it 13 times and has accumulated 92 yards. Kansas is averaging just over 2 yards a carry. 27 rushes, a mere 57 yards. Kansas State's defense has been great against the run.
Doherty is 7th punt here. He's averaged 41 yards per kick. He's at 43 plus for the season. This one a fair catch by Lockett. And Kansas State will take over there here in the early moments of the 4th quarter. A 39-yard kick by Ron Doherty. Kansas saying, this is what kind of day it's been. Knocking your beak against the camera. Jayhawk fans trying to keep the good attitude as the Hawks not to slip to 0-4 in Big 12 play. Kansas State, meanwhile, looking to go 7-0 overall, 4-0 in the conference. And the Big 12, talking about all this BCS, they have 3 teams unbeaten still, with Kansas State at number 11. Here's Lamar, the number 2 quarterback coming in. He tosses on the pitch. Samuel Lamar is a senior out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Schubert, the ball carrier that time.
Lamar, 6'4", 220-pounder.
First and 10 line brought to you by Mazda. It'll be 2nd and 4 after that 6-yard pickup by Hubert.
He's got some long arms on him, Samuel Lamar. Long body, long arms, very athletic. Starting to learn the offense. It's coming to him at a different pace.
Brother Emmanuel, mainstay on the defensive side for the Wildcats. Samuel out of a couple of different junior colleges before coming to Kansas State. He was at Independence for a year, Joliet, Illinois, Independence, Kansas prior to that. And Colin Klein, take the helmet off, and he can take the pads off too at this point, as Klein, just an outstanding afternoon. And Dave, you talk a lot about his ability to take a hit. Folks are saying that there's been some Mondays where he's looking like he's been in a train wreck, but they say actually he's been getting better as far as, I don't know if his body's just adjusting to it, they're protecting him a little better, whatever, but you're going to run that Kansas State offense, you're going to get hit.
And he's got Murderer's Row coming too.
Yeah.
All the defenses are going to be playing against him. He's going to take some shots.
Oklahoma next, and then at Oklahoma State, followed by Texas A&M and at Texas.
That's but Colin Klein, it's time for him to recline right now. Just kick back and chill and watch the conclusion of this football game. I mean, he gave a maximum effort. A career high in rushing touchdowns with 4, career high in passing yards. Just an outstanding day.
First and 10 for the Wildcats under the backup Lamar. Looking at play clock as well here. Hands off to Hubert. Hubert just keeps on churning, moving those legs, and he's got a first down and a scrum along with it. What an impressive run by John Hubert. 14 yards with this game pretty well decided. Tells you the effort.
He's only 5'7", but he's got tremendous leg strength. He's under everybody's pads because of his height, and then he's just grinding away.
Look at those offensive linemen coming in there going, we're going to help you out a second time. We tried to give you a little hole, now we'll give you a push from behind.
I'll tell you what, that's hats off to him. I mean, he's going to compete every single snap.
In the Wildcat formation, and Peace will take the snap. Peace breaks one, and he's got another first down as he takes it inside the 40, and we'll check in with Kevin Frazier now, Academy Sports and Outdoors Game Break.
Birthday boy LaMichael James carrying a cake in his left hand, injured, right hand empty, but he says he's ready to go against Colorado today. We'll have to see if he's allowed to play. Number 10 Oregon and Colorado coming up next.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Ducks and Buffs. Now from the action cam viewpoint, the Wildcat formation, Peace to receive it again.
Peace is feeling pretty comfortable there because he's got Wilson and he's got Travis Tannehill on his hip. He's got a big 255-pound fullback and a 245-pound tight end as personal protective bodyguards, lead blocking for him, and that's how Kansas State out-leveraged you. They have a double lead blocker with Pease taking the shotgun snap.
Kansas setting up here as hands on hips for Johnson and crew. 92 Dorsey.
Very demoralizing the way this game has progressed.
Lamar hands it off. Hubert again looking for a hole and finding him somehow. Loose pigskin. Kansas looking to pounce on it.
Kansas State has retained possession. They put it on the ground a couple of times, but have not lost possession in so doing.
He came in 2nd in the league, 11th nationally in turnover margin.
They were +6. They're +8 today. Ball's out. But Kansas State, I mean, Kansas had the best shot at it. Must have overrun it. Kansas State comes up with it. They're +8. They only have 1 penalty today for 10 yards. They had 10 penalties last week. It bothered Bill Snyder. Just 1 today, and Kansas has had a ton.
Peace again. Wildcat formation got the first down. Yeah, they've gained 15 turnovers. They've only lost 7 on the year, while Kansas had come in -5 in the gain category, or gained 5. They lost 9, now lost 11.
So they're -6, -4 coming in. And now that's in my mind, the truest stat in football. That's why one team is undefeated and enjoying a solid season. It's why the other one has lost a bunch of games in a row and struggling.
Yeah, very few teams survive that turnover situation. You may get away with it a game or two, but over the course of the year, it just kills you. Again, Peace. Got out of bounds.
Number 29.
Peace getting himself a good piece of the Kansas offense, of the Kansas defense for sure. And again, just out-leveraging the Jayhawks by formation with the big fullback and the big tight end. They got their big boy pads on and just getting the edge.
9:42 and counting here in the football game with Kansas State rolling. And in the red zone again, 52-14, 1st and 10. Wildcats with the backups in as Lamar again will take the snap. Keeps it himself. He may score. He does. Got some quicks now as Samuel Lamar rolls into the end zone, and the Wildcats. Well, we mentioned it was 59-7 last year. Well, it's about to become 59-14 this year.
Unbelievable in blocking. Watch number 88 receiver Miller at the goal line. Look at the blocking at the goal line to allow his quarterback to score. I mean, Terrell Miller just stuck, stalked, finished.
So Cantelli on for the PAT, Door the holder, and it is 59. 59-14 with 9:17 remaining. Willie the Wildcat still pumping out those push-ups as Kansas State at 59-14. And our BMW Ultimate Drive, everybody getting in on the fun as Samuel Lamar caps off a 10-play, 74-yard drive, and Kansas State, how about that note, Dave? 8 for 8 in the red zone. Making it the purple zone.
Yeah, that's it's the green zone, green for go. I mean, they're scoring at will.
Marquise Jackson takes this one on the 13 for Kansas. And he is stopped short of the 30-yard line. Well, the Wildcats have come to play today. No doubt about that. 59-14. Here is the Sprint Unlimited update. It was 31-14 at the half, and then Kansas State said, let's just finish it early.
And Lockett, great patience, little stutter step to let his blocking unfold for him, and he finishes it. And then Kansas starts turning it over. Fumble, short field. Klein finishes with a quarterback sneak. Then Klein hits Lockett over the top. Touchdown pass. And Lamar says, hey, let me get into the action a little bit. Excellent blocking on the perimeter, and he finishes. And
now Kansas with it 1st and 10, and Miller, the ball carrier. Miller to the 30, spinning forward to the 35-yard line. We have 9:02 to go in the game, and Kansas trailing 59-14 as Kansas State doing its part to stay unbeaten in Big 12 play. The Big Three, that's Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State, the unbeaten trio. And the 3 highest rated BCS teams, Oklahoma number 3, Oklahoma State number 4, and the Wildcats coming in number 11. Oklahoma State trying to take care of Missouri as we speak. And Oklahoma has Texas Tech tonight in Norman before they go to Manhattan next weekend. And
don't sleep on Texas Tech.
No, certainly OU though's been just about unbeatable in Norman.
Yep, they have. I mean, that's about as safe a bet as you can make.
1st and 10.
Oh,
another loose pigskin, and it kicked around. Jordan Webb trying to come up with it. Loose football. Miller finally smothers it back on the 15. We'll see where they mark it, maybe the 17-yard line. And a loss of 28 yards. My goodness.
Self-destruction continues. Webb, I mean, just trying to secure the ball. It's kicked by Hatch. Ball goes backwards and can't quite. Miller does the right thing. Fall on it. Don't try to pick it up. Good job by the true freshman. Smart, because Kansas State Wildcat defenders were closing in on him. If he mishandles that ball, it's another unscripted defensive score.
Now Miller, outstanding high school career, Blue Springs, Missouri, 88 touchdowns, 6,565 yards. Here he is, looking for a crease here. Flag is thrown. I mean, it was 2nd and 38, so they had some yards to give up, but I think Spike's going to be called for holding.
Holding on the offense, number 74. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Yep, that's the culprit.
They get Spikes for holding, but at this point, Kansas State says forget about it. But, you know, one guy I'd like to give a little tribute to, and that's Jeremiah Hatch. It's a blowout football game, 59-14. He's taken every snap. You know, it was questionable if he was going to even play at all. He had a severe injury, lost feeling in his neck and shoulder against Oklahoma. He went off the field in an ambulance. He's taken every snap today. He's a warrior. He's a captain. He's after it.
Handoff going this time to Pearson. Tony Pearson, the freshman from East St. Louis, Missouri, Illinois, and out to the 32. And it'll be 4th down.
It's easy to play the game when you're on Bill Snyder's side and you have a 59-14 lead. It's tougher to play the game when you're on Turner Gill's side and you're down 59-14 and have some pain and injury. And I just respect what Jeremiah Hatch has done today. I tip my cap to the guy.
Thompson, the deep man, as Doherty punts it away. Thompson, fair catch at the 28-yard line. And there'll be a break in the action here with 6:23 remaining. The Wildcats rolling toward their 7th consecutive win. Today's Polaris hardest working player, how about Tyler Lockett? What a job he's done today.
He has been a big play waiting to happen. Tremendous speed, acceleration. He gets 0 to 60 pretty darn quickly. But the good thing is he has patience while he's doing it. That's hard to do. Also, pretty good receiver down the football field, over the top, stretch the defense. Lockett has got a nice career ahead of him.
And of course, his dad, Kevin Lockett, outstanding player, one of the top receivers in K-State history. His Uncle Aaron, and looks like he's going to make his own history. The freshman out of Booker T. Washington in Tulsa. Another spectacular performance here today. And that kick return against Texas Tech yesterday. And there's again 5 catches, 110 yards, 97-yard kickoff return. His 2nd kickoff return for a TD.
Ruling on the field, the ball was fumbled by the runner, recovered by the defense. First down.
Ball was left on the ground by Kansas State, and they're saying that Kansas has got the football. They get possession. Let's see. As he's trying to finish the play, good little stiff arm.
Peace.
Is he down? No, he's down. But they ruled the ball out, but looked like his left knee. It looked like a bunch of things were down. Looked like his knee's down. The ball's still up. His knee is down. Is he have possession of the ball? Is he starting to lose possession of it? Starting to move out of his hand before that knee hits the ground is the key.
Kansas State is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble.
Right knee down. Is the ball? Had he started to lose possession before that right knee was down? Bill Snyder wants to challenge. He's not going to like the lack of ball security on that carry no matter what, whether they rule it a fumble or not. Watch. He's got the tripod, the knee right there.
Knee.
Ball still in his hand, but as the ball started to move out of his hand before he hits the ground. I think they made
Wildcats be a 2nd down coming up here with 6:12 to go. You haven't been with us. 7-0 Kansas State after 1 quarter. A wild 2nd quarter, ended up 31-14 at the half KSU. And then the Wildcats just hammered them early minutes of the 3rd quarter, scoring 3 touchdowns in the first 4.5 minutes and sealed this one. And
pass complete to number 19, Zach McFall.
On the carry, McFall on the reception.
Number 40, Ray Mitchell.
Everybody's going to get a little work now. Everybody gets their letter this afternoon. When in the 4th quarter you have a 59-14 lead, Bill Snyder has the luxury of getting a look at a lot of people in live conditions.
And with their lack of scholarship numbers, an injury or two, you never know who you might end up seeing one of these guys later on in critical situations.
Right.
Lamar tosses this one complete and out across the 42-yard line. That is Harrison Davis on the receiving end. And there's a good look in the graphic of what is ahead. 4 straight ranked teams, including 2 in the top 10, back-to-back, the Sooners and the Cowboys. And then Texas A&M, and then at Texas before finishing up December 3rd against Iowa State.
Well, Kansas State's undefeated, Oklahoma's undefeated, Oklahoma State's undefeated at this point. No matter what happens today, something's going to give.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at murderer's row right there. Undefeated's clashing very late in the season.
Of course, the other huge matchup out of that is the Bedlam game with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, December 3rd. Rose on the carry this time. We're inside 5 minutes remaining at the 44-yard line.
What Bill Snyder also likes, back-to-back years, obviously, he's qualified for a bowl game. And last year went to a bowl, and that helped because, you know, as he's turning his program around, all those extra practices, they're all helpful as he tries to install his system. And they've come along pretty darn well, and always does a good job adding components from the junior college ranks.
Lost a wild one in that Pinstripe Bowl up in New York, 36-34 to your old school, Syracuse.
Syracuse, yeah.
You probably gave them all of the K-State plans, no doubt. Here's Lamar as he is tackled at the 45-yard line. Isaac Wright making the stop, number 47 for Kansas. Syracuse coming up with a big win last night against West Virginia.
Yeah, they've beaten West Virginia back-to-back seasons when the Mountaineers were ranked.
Thought Kansas would have a better opportunity to pull off the upset today. Didn't anticipate this one going the way it did, but early mistakes in the penalties, and I think KU got down on itself very quickly.
Yeah, I think they are fragile a little bit psychologically, and when they self-destructed early, it snowballed.
Bashirs and McDougal are deep. Dorr, the punter. And it's returned. Here's McDougal. McDougal across the 25 and stopped at the 28-yard line. That's where Kansas will operate with 3:10 remaining. Down a ton. Quinn Meekum comes into quarterback for Kansas, a senior out of Provo, Utah. And wow, big pop put that time on Tony Pearson carrying the football to the 35, 36-yard line. Kansas possession. We go into 3 minutes remaining here.
Everybody in the game right now is trying to expand their role, get more snaps. So you're not going to see guys taking plays off. You got the backups wanting more time.
Yep, some clean unis out there right now. This one handed off as Pearson's got a lot of opportunities today. Out to the 38-yard line. Well, Kansas came in, or Kansas State, I should say, the number 2 scoring defense in the league, allowing 19.5. Well, if they continue at this pace, they'll bring that down a little bit. That's second in the league, 21st nationally.
And they were only allowing 3.2 yards per carry coming in, and Kansas didn't get that at this point, so they've done well.
Pass complete out into flat, and for the Jayhawks, Mundine with the reception. Jaime Mundine, a redshirt freshman out of Denison, Texas.
7-0, baby.
How about that? First time since '99. Wildcats will start 7-0.
Okay, all you fans out there that had the Wildcats at 7-0, come on now. Who are you? There had to be a few here and there.
Now, 5 of their 6 wins coming in today by 7 points or less. Well, they certainly put a
face mask
finish to that business. Penalty on the play here. 1:43 to go.
Personal foul, face mask, on a defense, number 90. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Hey folks, tonight World Series Game 3 in Arlington, Texas. The Rangers continue their quest for the first championship in franchise history, while the Cards look for their 11th World Series title. Legends are born in October, and Game 3 of the World Series between the Cardinals and Rangers begins tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, 4:30 Pacific, only on Fox. Boy, 2 terrific games, regardless of what team you're for. The first 2 games, St. Louis, were just great baseball.
Yep.
This pass by Meekum out of bounds, stops the clock with 1:24 to go.
A couple of statistics that will increase today. Kansas State scored first. They're now under Bill Snyder, 132 wins and 27 losses. They've won 83% of the time when they score first. They've led at the half today. They're now 147-5, winning over 97% of the games when they lead at the half. That is staggering.
That's ridiculous.
147-5 when they lead at the half. My goodness.
Since 1990. Meekum delivering here and incomplete, thrown behind the intended receiver. That was Chris Omiji, the sophomore from Arlington, Texas. They got crossed up.
The lesson is when the professor gets the lead on you, he steps on your throat. He doesn't reposition the foot to try to let you get in the air. He takes the air out of you. He knows how to finish, and he teaches his football team how to finish. Very, very competitive coach.
And just now starting to take the headset off with 1:17 to go. Meekum across the middle, and it is complete. Mundine with the reception, and he is stopped at the 21-yard line. And Kansas will see if they can squeeze out one more score here. As Dave mentioned, you got guys playing for more time. 21-yard pickup that time. Quinn Meekum, the 6'2", 207-pounder out of Provo, Utah. Back to pass, in trouble here. Meekum dragged down as they keep him in play.
In Kansas State's defense, the backups don't want to give up any more points.
Yeah, you know that's a pride issue. Ferguson making the tackle that time. And
this absolutely just gnaws at his stomach, I can guarantee you that.
Never lost to K-State when he was a player as a quarterback in Nebraska. Of course, came here from Buffalo, where he got them to 8 wins in his second to last season and won the MAC championship. Pass complete again to Mundine, down to the 5. We'll stop the clock for the change to move in the first down. 16 yards on the pickup and 30 seconds and counting. Kansas does have one timeout remaining. And Meekum across the middle, incomplete, and he had a man. It was Mundine wide open.
And Meekum's reaction is, I can't believe I did that. Release point too high, follow through a little bit longer, hold on to the ball just a half a beat more, and you get yourself a touchdown pass.
Meekum, who came to Kansas from Snow Community College. Last year threw for 554 yards and 4 touchdowns, 5 picks. Clock stopped at 18 seconds to go. Second and goal from the 5. And another one, incomplete. Intended for the big fella Trent Smiley.
And that's usually the case. When you have a wide open receiver and you don't execute, the defense makes it a lot tougher from that point on. You know, when you have something that was easily there and you miss that chance, sometimes it comes back to bite you big.
So third and goal with 13 seconds remaining. Dine going back in motion, and the handoff, Miller. And Miller spins, he is stopped shy. It'll be 4th and goal with 6 seconds to go, and timeout Kansas.
Timeout, yep. Turnergill will now be ranked, counting this Kansas State game, 5 of them. So, I mean, it's been a difficult stretch for sure. It's a tough schedule.
So 6 seconds to go, 4th and goal from the 2. Meekum looking for Mundine, and has it. Touchdown Jayhawks.
Pretty good coverage out there by Jonathan Truman, but just not quite enough.
With 1 second remaining, Kansas scores on the TD pass, Meekum to Mundine.
Tight end against linebacker, tight end gets separation. Truman may have had a little early contact, no flag was thrown. Nice job by Mundine to focus and concentrate.
And Mueller, following the first career touchdown of Mundine, and 59-21, Mueller with the PAT. And
Bill Snyder looks like he's down 59-21. He is so competitive.
Yeah, those two go way back. Not only did Chuck Long quarterback under Bill Snyder when he was the offensive coordinator at Iowa, Hayden Fry the head coach, but he personally recruited Chuck Long. He was in Wheaton, Illinois, outside of Chicago, and Chuck telling us, I had Iowa, Northwestern, and Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois at that time was like 1AA. He said, talk about a difference of personalities, Bill Snyder and Hayden Fry. He said, total different picture, but he believed what they were selling.
No question. And, you know, Dennis Green was coaching at Northwestern at the time, and, you know, Chuck thought, geez, he might go back to the NFL, which he did. And Chuck made a great decision. Bill Snyder has a great eye for talent because Chuck Long ends up runner-up for the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
You know, and Chuck said, I wasn't heavily recruited, but Bill Snyder saw something in me, and Bill Snyder knows what he's looking at. He's got an eye for talent and how to develop it.
Here's the kickoff for the final play. And taken inside the 15. And that will be the ball game as Kansas State 7-0 for the 11th ranked Wildcats of Bill Snyder. 59-21 as they hammer the Jayhawks on their home field here at Memorial Stadium. And the Wildcats first 7-0 since 1999.
Who would have thunk it, really? I bet if you ask Bill, you know, off the record, this may be one of his favorite football teams. How can it not be? The way this team has responded to him and his coaches. And I tell you, they've got chemistry. They've got it. And you know when you have it, you don't want to lose it. And they've got it.
All right, well, we'll find out how happy he is. We'll send it down to Emily Jones with Coach Snyder.
Thank you very much, Coach Snyder. 7-0 for the first time since 1999. You're playing efficiently. 1 penalty, 8 for 8 in the red zone. Pleased with your team's performance?
Well, I think your youngsters played hard, and we did some very positive things, I think, on both sides of the ball. As always, you know, we still have some things that we have to get corrected. I thought we started off great on special teams, then we faltered a little bit. Defensively, you know, they moved the ball when we had our 2s in there. Not that they couldn't move it, you know, against our 1s, because they proved in the first half that they could. But I think collectively, we played reasonably well. I know they played hard. So I was pleased. You know, this is not the score is not reflective of the quality of football team that KU has. They're a better team than that.
Now, Coach, I wanted to bring something to you. On the conference call, you mentioned something about cookies, and I wanted you to know that I'm coachable. And here they are, a dozen chocolate chip cookies for you. Congratulations on being 7-0.
I want you to know you're absolutely wonderful, and I love chocolate chip cookies.
Wonderful. Coach Snyder, thanks for the time. We do appreciate it. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Oh, he says we don't suck up. Keep the coach happy.
Emily is coachable. Emily's very coachable.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Wildcats 59-21 over the Jayhawks.